Hello everybody and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt. On today's episode we are talking Murder on the Orient Express, directed and starring Kenneth Branagh. Now, I was a little apprehensive to go see this movie. It was getting very mixed reviews, and it was something that I really wanted to see because I like Kenneth Branagh. The look of it's amazing. I like the cast for the most part, and I love murder mysteries. I mean, Clue to me is just like one of the greatest, if not the greatest, comedy of all time. And I'm not familiar with the source of this. I have not seen the other movies on it. I have not read the book. I don't know anything about Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot series that she does, apparently. I don't know. I didn't realize that there was a whole bunch of books starring this character. And so I was really looking forward to it. I loved the trailers. It felt different than what we see a lot of times in this, and I was really into the way it looked, like the way it was shot. And then I started hearing some of those reviews, and some of them were very lukewarm, like they enjoyed it, but they were disappointed it wasn't exactly what they wanted to, so I almost didn't see this in the theater. I was really apprehensive, and so I went in I went in expecting to be disappointed, which I think always helps my case. So I'm sitting there, and the movie starts, and I loved it right away. I really enjoyed this movie. I think that it's a little bit better than what a lot of the review people that I follow at least said. I think I liked it more than them. That's not to say that you might not like it, but I really did. And I'm going to try to make this a non-spoiler review. I'm just going to talk about the movie in general and the structure of it and the characters and all this kind of stuff. If I fail, you will see the word spoiler in the title and the thumbnail. So hopefully I can do a non-spoiler review. The opening sequence of this film sets up Hercule Poirot, the greatest detective in the world, his sort of OCD behaviors, his weirdness, and really just how smart he is. So they introduce the character really well, and then they go on to how he gets on the Orient Express, which is a train. They're on a train for most of this. And the setup really works. It introduces us to the main character, Hercule Poirot, so perfectly, and it introduces a couple of little characters here and there, including the guy who owns the Orient Express and works it. And I think him and Kenneth Branagh have a really great chemistry back and forth together. And it also introduces us to the governess played by Daisy Ridley and then Leslie Odom Jr.'s doctor character. We get a little bit of insight into them possibly having some sort of relationship. And then we start to meet all of these other characters while we're on the train. And it does take a little bit to get on the train, which I was thinking it would just start off on the train. But I like the introduction that we got. It also sets the time period really well. And the sort of quirkiness of this character, it gets brought out within these before it takes a bit more of a serious turn once we start interviewing all these people after the murder happens. And honestly, I kind of do wish they leaned into the quirkiness a little bit more, like how Clue does it, to where it knows it's ridiculous and weird, and it has these characters that are just caricatures, but it works really well, as opposed to what we got was a quirkiness, but it didn't fully go there. Even though I still really enjoyed it, and I don't think it ruined it at all for me, I kind of wish it would have leaned into the weirdness a tiny bit more. But I feel like this movie does have an emotion to it, this plot point of a murder that happened previously that's connected to all of this. It really works. And at the end of it, I felt so emotionally connected to trying to figure this out that I started to tear up towards the end. I really did, and I haven't done that in a movie in a while now. And admittedly, I do cry in movies pretty easily. I mean, I cried in Cheaper by the Dozen, for Christ's sake, but I haven't done it in a while, and I did feel emotionally connected to these characters and to this case. Now, the characters, the murder suspects of this case, the people that are on this train, this cabbie, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were all acted wonderfully. There's a couple standouts to me. I think Michelle Pfeiffer was fantastic. I really liked Daisy Ridley, and I also really liked Josh Gad in this. I really enjoyed his character. It was something different from what we've seen from him. And I do think that he could have maybe a Jonah Hill upside is what I would say, but I mean that to where he could take on more serious roles and be very good in them, even though he is really great at comedy. One thing I will say is every character I actually do kind of wish I got a little bit more. Like, if we wouldn't have spent so much time on the setup getting on the train, we could have maybe gotten a little bit more feeling from some of them. I think Penelope Cruz's character, I wish I would have gotten more. Willem Dafoe's character, I wish I would have gotten more. He was very interesting. And then also Judi Dench. Judi Dench is Judi Dench. And then one thing I will say is her assistant or secretary or whoever like is traveling with her, she plays the lead detective in Broadchurch, and her name is escaping me right now. But first of all, she's phenomenal. She's replacing Claire Foy in The Crown because it's going to be an older version of Queen Elizabeth or whoever it is. And I really like her, and I actually wish I would have gotten more from her character because the way that the actress plays her, it makes it feel like there's just so much beneath this sort of assistant role that she's playing. So I wish I would have gotten a little bit more with that. Who else is in this? Oh, Johnny Depp's in this, and I don't really care much for him, but luckily he doesn't have like a huge part acting wise. And I will say it did at times feel like he was in a different movie than the rest of the cast. And maybe that is something that the Schmoes Know crew said really well with Christian and Mark. They said that because we're so used to Johnny Depp being this caricature as opposed to an actual character, and not in a good way, not in the Clue way, we almost, when we watch him, it distorts our viewing experience in a way. Almost like anytime he's ever on screen, even if he's not playing a Jack Sparrow or a Lone Ranger or what are all these stupid characters, Willy Wonka, the stupid Mad Hatter, all of these characters that are overboard, even when he plays a toned down version of these things, it doesn't feel genuine in a way. And honestly, I would be interested in kind of going back and seeing his earlier work before he became that sort of character type actor, over the top actor, and seeing if I can still watch like What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I would be interested in seeing if I could watch that and still take him seriously. And once we get to really the thick of the murder that happens on the Orient Express, I mean, I'm someone who, I love murder mysteries. I like legit try to figure out who done it. I'm the person that's like watching this, I'm like, okay. And I could not guess. I literally couldn't guess it. Until like 2 seconds before they revealed it. And that's really great because, you know, you think that it's one person and then you're like, well, maybe it's like two people doing this. And then you're thinking, well, who's not actually getting questioned? Maybe it's the guy who owns the Orient Express, and maybe it was the detective. We don't know. Like, I was so confused. And at one point, somebody confesses to it on the train, and it feels undeserved. And then I'm like, is it just going to end here? And then we get this great ending that just, in my opinion, is a perfect ending for this type of movie. And again, I've not seen the old movies, I've not read the books, so I didn't know how it was going to end. And I like this sort of battle that Hercule Poirot has inside of himself, whether or not to do what is supposed to be the right thing and what might be the right thing in this situation. And also the fact that he feels like this one is escaping him at some points, like he can't see the full picture because everybody's lying about something, and there's just so much that he has to figure out. So I think they did a really good job. I loved some of the shots in this. Some of the overhead shots of just conversations was fantastic. I loved the scenery of this. I really enjoyed it. I would watch more movies of Agatha Christie books with Hercule Poirot in it. I would. I'd go to the theater, I'd watch it as long as Kenneth Branagh is in it, because he is the star of this movie, and he does a great job. I want to see more. Even if they put something like on Netflix, Netflix buys this, buys the rights to the Agatha Christie novels or whatever, and they do like little things here and there that just pop up, and it's new murder mysteries. And I think that this type of story, it lends itself to being very diverse in casting because it's all around the world. So you can get a full Indian cast if you want to do something in India. You can do something in China. You can do something in America at some point. And you can see like prohibition, like mobsters and all that kind of stuff. Like there's history that you can get. There's diversity you can get. There is just a million actors that you can put into these roles. And you really just have Hercule Poirot as the guy that just goes around. And I would be so interested to seeing more. I really would. I don't think it's going to go there, but I would really, really want to see that. Okay, that is the end of this review. I think I did pretty good with the non-spoiler. I really hope I didn't spoil anything. I don't think I did. I also tried to dress up a little bit more for this one. I was trying to find a funny mustache last minute, but I did not, sadly. Anyway, I hope you liked this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on Murder on the Orient Express. Would you be interested in seeing another one by chance? Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, you'll be getting a Riverdale recap episode. So, excited, right? Okay, bye.